All right, let's get you guys a Jazz Chisholm Jr. injury update and some sort of answer on how the heck the Yankees got completely drugged by the White Sox on Monday night. So I got my guy, Greg Joyce, Yankees beat writer for the Post, live from Guaranteed Rate Field ahead of tonight's matchup. Greg, I never thought that I'd be saying that the hottest team in baseball needs a bounce-back game against the worst team in probably baseball history, but these are the times, man. So thanks for hopping on with us. Before we get into last night's game and today's preview, Jazz Chisholm Jr. was injured, and he left the game with a left elbow injury in the loss. X-rays came back negative. He had an MRI and a further evaluation today. What happened from your point of view or where you were sitting at the game, and have you heard any update on the extent of the injury?
Yeah, so no update yet from the MRI that he got today. He made a heads-up play, aggressive play. You know, he was stealing from second to third on a ground ball to shortstop, and kept running around third base. And then as he dove in, the catcher kind of put the tag around his elbow, would spare a lot of the brunt of his weight. So he said once he didn't feel anything at first. Once the adrenaline wore off, it started throbbing a little bit. He didn't seem overly concerned about it. And Aaron Boone said hopefully it's not too serious, but like you said, the X-rays were negative, kind of ruling out a broken bone or anything. But the MRI would show if there's any kind of ligament strains or damage or anything like that. So early on they didn't seem overly concerned, but obviously the MRI will tell the results today.
All right, Yankees fans are holding their breath waiting for that news. Hopefully, like you said, it's not anything too serious and he can get back out there and join his teammates. Now, let's get back to the bad. 12-2 beat down by the Chicago White Sox. Tough night for the bullpen. How did this squad play down to its opponent, Greg? Make it make sense.
Yeah, they had so many opportunities early, especially the first 4 innings, just to kind of break the game open and couldn't do it. They put a ton of runners on. The White Sox starter walked 7 guys in 4 2/3, I think it was. And, they ended up stranding, I think it was 16 runners on base and going 2 for 18 with runners in scoring position. So, and most of that, or a lot of that at least came in the first 4 innings. So they had that chance and then couldn't do anything with it. And then the White Sox kind of took advantage of, hitting the ball, where they were and against Luis Seal and especially Eniel De Los Santos. They hit him a lot harder and kind of broke the game open from there. So it was just kind of an ugly night all around. It was a grind for Luis Seal, only gave him 4 innings on a night when their bullpen was pretty thin. And so, they had to ask for 2 1/3 from Tim Hill and 1 2/3 from De Los Santos, who I think ended up throwing about 45, 48 pitches, something like that. So, it got ugly late, got out of hand. And I know you can kind of chalk it up to baseball, and that's certainly what the Yankees did. But it was, like you said, the team that entered the night with the tie for the best record in baseball, and the team that has the worst record in baseball by a large margin. Obviously, some funny things happen, but it was just a bad night for the Yankees overall.
When you talk about the bullpen being thin, what options does Aaron Boone have in terms of addressing the bullpen and getting some sort of consistency on the mound? And do you think we can see some sort of change-up? No pun intended.
Yeah, we'll see. They need to get a couple guys back on track, but other than that, they're kind of handcuffed a little bit because there's only one guy in the bullpen who has minor league options left, and that's Jake Cousins, who's actually been throwing the ball pretty well. So, if they're going to make any kind of a change-up, they risk losing guys, and they're all about keeping as much depth as possible, especially now that the trade deadline is passed. And, these final 2 months, they kind of, all the depth they have is all they can get. So, there's guys like Scott Efros, Nick Birdie, and Ron Marinaccio down at AAA, who, Birdie and Efros were coming back from injuries and have been options and trying to get some more work in. So, at some point you would think you could see those guys coming up, but obviously it's going to probably, barring an injury to somebody in the bullpen, it's going to have to come from DFAing somebody unless they were sent Cousins down, which wouldn't make a ton of sense just because he's throwing the ball pretty well right now. So they're going to have to make some hard decisions here over the next couple weeks at least, I would think. We'll see tomorrow, too. They don't have a starter for tomorrow because that 2 guys go on Saturday in a doubleheader. So I think they thought they might go with the bullpen game, and obviously the bullpen's been stretched pretty thin here, so it's kind of hard to do when you're having guys throw a lot of innings with 2 games forward. So we'll see where they go from there. But, most importantly, they need to get their high-leverage guys back on track.
All right, let's talk about tonight. I used the word the phrase bounce back game. I hate using that frame, but I guess that kind of is what tonight's game is. So can you break that down for us? What do fans should expect?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to watch is just Nestor Cortez. Obviously, he's struggled lately. Early in the season, it was kind of just the home road splits, but now he's just been, he's gone through a rough patch here, regardless of where he's pitched. So they need him to get back on track, and they need him to give him some length. Like we talked about the bullpen having to carry a heavy load here lately. They need Nestor to go into the 6th, 7th inning, which he hasn't done a ton of lately. But it's an important opportunity for him to kind of get back on track and give his bullpen a breather tonight, especially going into tomorrow to see what they do. But and just for the offense, Aaron Boone, they felt like they had the right at bats last night, just couldn't come through with the big hit. If they get one of those early, maybe it's a different game. But they put the guys on, they just couldn't get anybody across, and that needs to change tonight.
I thought these were supposed to be get-right games and stat patterns. Now we're watching to see if they can go toe-to-toe with the Chicago White Sox. All right, Greg, enjoy the game tonight, and thanks for hopping on with us.
You got it. Thanks, Brandon.